Hello, welcome everyone to Readsmood, Books with Meaning.
All right, so let's dive into this. Sometimes you find the most, profound insights not necessarily in dense academic texts, but in stories.
Especially stories for children, right? They have this amazing way of distilling really complex, deep truths.
Exactly, making them pure, understandable, and genuinely meaningful.
And that's spot on for our source material today. We're looking at parts of a children's book, Kibo y el superpoder de sus four corazones. That's Kibo and the Superpower of His Four Hearts. It's by T.C.H.
Yeah, and it tackles something really relevant, I think, for many families now. It does it with such creativity and real tenderness.
It really does.
So our mission here is to unpack this specific book, understand the challenge it's addressing, look at its really unique solution.
And pull out those nuggets of insight it offers about connection, identity, love, all of it.
Okay, so the story starts with Kibo. He's this little elephant living happily in the savannah with his parents, Aiko and Bako.
And his world feels very secure, very loving. That comes across really clearly. But then, like kids do, he starts getting curious.
Right. A friend, Nuru, asks him a simple question. Nuru knows he joined his family through adoption.
And it makes Kibo wonder. He asks his own parents, so how did I come to be in our family?
And that question, that simple question, it opens up the whole core challenge the book is trying to help with.
Which is?
How do parents even talk about their child's origin story when it doesn't quite fit the, let's say, the two most common scripts, standard conception or formal adoption?
Yeah, that's a real situation for a growing number of families. Paths to parenthood are more diverse now.
Absolutely. We're talking about kids who came to their families through assisted reproduction, right? Like donation sperm, egg, embryo, or surrogacy.
Beautiful ways families are made, absolutely intentional. But explaining how to a child, that needs a totally different approach, a different vocabulary than just, you grew in mommy's tummy or we chose you.
And the difficulty for parents, it's not just the facts, is it?
No, exactly. It's the emotional side.
How do you explain the science and the journey?
In a way a kid gets. And, crucially, make them feel utterly loved and wanted. Really special.
Not, different in a negative way, or that their story's too complicated, or somehow less.
Right. That's the tightrope. Finding language that builds security, not confusion.
And this is where the book and its central idea is just brilliant.
It really is. Kibo's parents, they don't go into a biology lesson.
No.
Instead, they share this incredibly powerful, poetic idea. Kibo, they tell him, you don't just have one heart. You have four.
Oh, that image, it just lands, doesn't it? It immediately shifts the whole conversation.
Totally. Away from mechanics or legal stuff and towards something emotional, life-affirming.
It takes all that complexity and breaks it down into these symbolic, affectionate pieces a child can actually connect with, cherish even.
And it lets them acknowledge everyone who played a vital, loving part in Kibo arriving without needing those sort of clinical labels.
Right.
Each heart stands for a key piece of his unique story. A source of love, a source of purpose. It reframes it all as how much love it took to bring him here.
Okay, let's get into the details of these four hearts, based on the source. The first one belongs to Naya. What's her role in this metaphor?
Naya is the very beginning, the origin. The book calls her a wise elephant from far away who had a magic seed full of life and love.
Magic seed.
Yeah. And Naya had this deep purpose, a proposito for Kibo to exist. So she shared her seed. It symbolizes that genetic contribution, doesn't it? The spark.
But framed with magic and hope. It sounds almost mythical, really positive, acknowledging that starting point with wonder.
Exactly, like a precious gift.
Okay, so Naya is the origin, the magic seed, then comes the second heart, Marama.
Marama. She's described as strong, constant, like the moon Luna. Her role was to carry Kibo, protect him in her womb while he grew.
Ah, so the gestational journey.
Yes, she surrounded him with love during that crucial time. She's like a maternal figure who journeyed with him, providing that safe space for him to develop.
So her heart represents strength, bravery.
Exactly. The incredible strength needed to carry and nurture life. And there's this really moving detail in the source.
What's that?
It says that Naya and Marama, while they go on their own paths, they still live inside Kibo.
Inside him? How?
Their love transforms. It becomes whispers, hugs, and stars within him.
Wow. Whispers, hugs, and stars. That's incredibly powerful imagery, especially if a child might never meet, say, a donor or a carrier.
Right. It turns what could feel like an absence or just an abstract idea.
Into something enduring, an internal presence.
Exactly. Their love isn't just a past event. It continues inside Kiba. Symbolically, yes, but tangibly within his story.
So it's not about physical presence, but an energetic connection that's part of the child. That feels really key for emotional security.
It really does. It helps integrate those figures into the child's sense of self healthily. Their love doesn't vanish. It just changes form and stays.
Okay, that's beautiful. So origin acknowledged with magic and hope, the caring with strength and bravery. Then we get to the parents raising Kibo. The third heart is Bako's.
Bako, his father, his guide, his protector. The book really emphasizes his heart is full of protection and courage.
The protector.
Yes. From the moment he knew Kibo was coming, he promised to always be there, to guide, to care for him, provide security, strength, no matter what.
So his love is active, steadfast.
Courageous, yeah.
A heart of protection and courage. Speaks right to that core parental role, doesn't it? Providing safety, guidance. Okay, and the fourth heart, Aiko.
Aiko, Kibo's mother. And her name itself means Hija del Amor, daughter of love.
Oh, lovely.
Her heart is described as just full of infinite love. She expresses that eternal love, unwavering care. He is her son, unequivocally.
So her heart is that foundational, nurturing love, the bedrock of their bond in the family.
Yeah, exactly.
So the book creates this mosaic, really. Kibo's history isn't just linear or clinical.
No.
It's the coming together of four distinct, loving forces, each with a symbolic name, a quality: Naya's magic and hope,
Origin, genetics.
Marama's strength and bravery,
Carrier, the journey.
Bako's protection and courage,
Father, protector.
and Aiko's infinite love.
Mother, nurturer.
And by using those positive words, those simple names, it just bypasses all the complicated medical talk.
Completely. It frames the whole thing around the immense love and intention involved.
It seems like such a profoundly gentle, accessible way to talk about donors or surrogates with a young child.
It is. It avoids labels that might feel confusing or impersonal. It puts the focus right where it needs to be for a child, on the love surrounding them, the purpose behind them being here.
So thinking about the impact, the emotional, psychological side,
Yeah.
how does this narrative, this metaphor, actually support a child's development, their sense of who they are, where they belong?
Oh, it's hugely supportive. I mean, for any child, understanding where they come from is fundamental to identity.
Right.
And when that story has complexities, giving them a clear, positive, consistent narrative is just vital. If parents seem hesitant or if it's all mysterious,
The child picks up on that.
absolutely, they can internalize that uncertainty, feel insecure, or like something's wrong with their story.
They need a narrative they can own, something that makes them feel good about themselves, their origins.
Precisely, and this book delivers that. It's clear, it's positive, and it's genuinely empowering. Kibo isn't told he's just different.
No?
He's told he's unique, incredibly special because of these four hearts. His own heart absorbs their qualities: magic, brave, protective, loving.
Ah, so it reframes the complexity. It becomes the source of his specialness.
Exactly. It turns potential vulnerability into strength, into value.
And this leads up to the story's really lovely ending where these four hearts give Kibo his actual superpower.
Yes, the superpower of infinite love. That's what having these four hearts grants him.
Infinite love. What does that mean in this story?
It means he can make others feel strong, happy, valued, even when they're having a tough time. It's such a transformative message, isn't it?
It really is. It takes this potentially sensitive origin story.
And makes it the source of an amazing capacity for love and connection. His identity is tied directly to making a positive difference.
That's such a powerful shift. From just explaining the past to giving the child this identity rooted in love and this potential for good in the world. And the core messages that the book puts out there, they feel so universal.
I really are. It says so clearly, it doesn't matter how we come into the world. What really matters is the love of those around us.
That's powerful.
And then the big one, families are created with love, and love is the greatest superpower of all.
These messages are just vital, aren't they? They validate any family built on love and commitment, regardless of biology, regardless of the path taken.
It shifts the focus firmly onto the emotional bonds, the intention, which is so affirming for diverse families. It says loud and clear, your family is real, valid, full of love.
Just as much as any other.
Exactly. And giving those positive roles, those names like Naya and Marama, it helps the child integrate those parts of their story healthily.
They aren't just anonymous figures.
No, they're acknowledged contributors whose love in that beautiful image lives on inside the child. as whispers, hugs, stars. That's got to be more comforting than just donor or surrogate without that emotional wraparound.
Yeah, absolutely. So wrapping up, this book, Kibo, El Superpoder de sus Four Corazones by T.C.H., it's clearly much more than a sweet story.
Oh, much more.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable tool, really. A celebration of diversity, generosity, and love is the glue. The author, T.C.H., calls it a seed of love and learning.
That feels right.
Yeah, meant to inspire, excite, make you reflect. And I think it achieves that. It's simple enough for a child, but profound enough to build real emotional security.
It feels like an invaluable resource for parents navigating those tricky but important conversations about different family origins.
It gives them a framework, a beautiful narrative that centers the child's story on love, hope, strength, protection.
Its originality is definitely that Four Hearts metaphor, such a unique language.
And its emotional value, transforming potential complexity into strength. Self-esteem, that superpower of love.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? For all of us, really. How we get here is secondary to the love that shapes us.
And the love we can give, that love we receive, it becomes part of us.
Indeed. And thinking about that image again, the love from Naya and Marama becoming whispers, hugs, and stars inside Kibo, what does that suggest to you about connection, family, even when people aren't physically present?
Well, it makes you think, doesn't it? That love's influence isn't just about proximity. It can become part of who you are, resonate from within.
So the bonds formed through intention, through contribution, they can still shape identity, capacity for love, even without daily contact.
It's just so, yes. A beautiful way to think about the layers of connection that bring us into being and can hold us up through life.
It really is. And, if you listening are a parent or an educator or just someone who loves a child whose family may be formed in a non-traditional way, exploring this book could be wonderful.
Yeah, not just a nice story, but maybe a really beautiful, empowering starting point for those vital conversations about their unique, amazing origin.
Here, books are presented calmly, so you can discover what they're about, what emotions run through them, and why you might fall in love with reading them. Sometimes they're signed with a real name, other times under a pseudonym always written from the soul. If you're a writer and would like us to talk about your book, write to me at the email you'll find in the description. And if you want to keep discovering new books that deserve to be read, subscribe to the channel. At Readsmood, we give voice to stories that transform.